What's up guys, Tao here. So recently I upgraded my existing system from this i7-8700 to i9-19900K in hope of gaining the multi-core performance and multi-hyper-threading performance. My master plan to change the processor only without changing the motherboard. This is kind of the shortcut to gain the performance. Now, the overall upgrading process is pretty straightforward. So all I did was back it up, sign out of iCloud from the existing system, and go into BIOS, change the highest processor this particular motherboard will support, which is a Gigabyte Z370 Ultra Gaming. It's old, but works fine. And log into the new system and boot it up, and change the SM BIOS setting, which is the system definition, to a 19.1, which is matching the i9-19900K. Now, in terms of graphics, my old system used the IG platform ID, so I'm just gonna change it and without changing anything else. Your system might be different, and there are a lot of users on the forum debating about headless mode, but this is just my system. Your system may be different. If you use headless mode, there's no need to change anything. So after that, everything works perfectly. At least seems working perfectly. Now I'm going to show you guys what is the problem or what's the issue with this particular board. Runs on the 5 GHz on the i9. So it's kind of unstable. As long as you don't run on the highest frequency box standard, which is up to 5 GHz for a long period of time, and then you'll be fine. So that was the reason I didn't really notice any difference at all in terms the stability. Performance has gained, but the stability at some point, especially when you neutralize the processor up to 5 GHz for a long period of time, that's where the instability come in. I'm going to show you guys in a sec what I am talking about. Alright, first of all, let's have a look in the BIOS. You can see here's the Z370 Ultra Gaming, BIOS version F15 and i9-19900K. The base frequency is 3.6 GHz. Right now it's on the 5 gig. Now, the board has a really limited overclocking features. Now here's the ZZOC. There's only like 3 different options. Let me see, performance, saving, and normal. So yeah, that's about it. You can't really change anything else. So I just changed to performance. Now in terms of the processor support, if you go into the MIT and go into advanced frequency setting, now here you can actually select the CPU upgrade. So the highest processor it will support is the i7-8700K. It runs on the 5 GHz, which is the option we are using right now. So that's the 5 GHz. You can't really change anything else in terms of the CPU clock ratio, and yeah, you can't really do anything to it. And also the base clock, absolutely you cannot change it. So that is the huge limitation of this particular board. Alright, let me show you in the system. It is on i9. Here we go. That's i9, iMac, which is the system definition 19.1, and this is the Vega 64 reference design. Now this graphics really good for workstation build and not so good for gaming. It's just so loud because the reference design system is Mojave. It has been extremely stable. There's no issue with any updates, system updates at all, so there's no need to change. Maybe in the future when I get the new RX 5600 XT or 5700 XT, and then I'll think about changing the system to maybe Catalina. But for now, this is perfectly fine. And also here I have the Intel Power Gadget open. You can see in the frequency. Now the core max is 5 GHz, which is matching the BIOS setting. Right now it's only 2.2 GHz because that doesn't really do anything. So as soon as we start editing, so that's gonna increase to 5 GHz, which is the maximum frequency. Right, I'm now gonna show you my graphics setting in Clover. Now I understand this might have divided opinion among those users, but bear in mind this is my system only. Your system may be different. I have been using this kind of setting for a very, very long time, and so never caused me any problems, and I didn't really notice any significant performance issue. So old system, it was on 3E92, or which is the IG platform ID, and a new one, I changed to 3E98 after changing the CPU. Now that's matching the iMac 19.1. So the performance has been stable, and I'm going to show you guys the Burst S5K in the Final Cut Pro. Just give you guys a idea what is performance. Now here have a stopwatch here. First thing, let's do a render. You can see nothing has been rendered, and let's do 1, 2, 3, and see how long this is gonna take. Now keep on the second monitor. That's the power consumption and performance. So the time is 8.09 seconds. 8.09 seconds to render. Now let's do a export. And let's do a export on the native res S5K, and let's see 1, 2, 3. Now the export only finish if you see a notification has been exported successfully. We're going to look for that. So it's 8.24 seconds. So export is 8.24 seconds. Now this is my performance. Your one may be different and with different settings. So let's just leave as that. Right, to show you guys the issue, I'm going to use the Cinebench R20, and this is the CPU benchmark. And keep eye on this on the second monitor. Now this is the Intel Power Gadget. The frequency at the moment is 5 gig. This is the max, and also notify the utilization. So if I click on run, now the power consumption immediately go up and frequency reach the max 5 gig, and utilization should be 99% or 100%, and the Cinebench either crash or the system reboot. So let's see which one's gonna, okay, here we go. Now the system just rebooted. Now to show you guys the issue in the Final Cut Pro, it's a little bit difficult and take a little bit longer. Now essentially, right now, this video I did, the entire video was shot on the Panasonic GH5 on 10-bit and 30 frames per second. So right now, nothing has been rendered. Now, if you zoom in, zoom out constantly on this timeline, if you notice on the left corner, which on the left second screen, you can see the power consumption, the frequency, and utilization. So at some point, it's going to reach the max. So if you're constantly doing this, the system will restart or the Final Cut Pro is going to crash. Okay, maybe shorter. Here we go. It just rebooted again. So you can see that's the issue. Now to solve that issue, we're going to change the setting in the BIOS under the MIT Advanced Frequency Settings. Now here's the CPU upgrade. It was on 5 GHz. Now we changed that to 4.9 at just 100 MHz, and that is going to stabilize the system completely. Now we're back in the system. Let's just make sure it's running on, there we go, maximum frequency is 4.9 GHz. We're going to put that on site. Now let's run Gigabench again, see if that will stabilize. Let's see, okay, run. Here we go. The score is 5026. So yeah, finished the test without any issues. So 4.9 GHz is the way to go. Right, just to make sure it's not a macOS issue, I'm going to run the same Cinebench test in Windows. So right now it's running in Windows. The Intel Power Gadget is really, really small. I can see it's running on 4.9. Now it has started. So the score is 5023, so it's about the same. Now let's run at 5 GHz, see what happens. Okay, I've changed the frequency to 5 gig. Hopefully you can see from here, it says 5 gigahertz. Now let's run the test again, see if this complete the Cinebench test. And here we go. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It stopped. Yeah, the test has stopped. Yeah, so at 5 gigahertz definitely is not stable, either in Windows or in the Mac. So, oh, actually, I can't even close this. So yeah, 5 gig is no go on the Z370 motherboard, this particular motherboard. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. I really hope this video helped you guys who actually wants to do the same thing or similar thing using the newer processor on the Z370 motherboard. Please double check if your board is working with the i9 properly. I guess, I don't know how you're gonna check, maybe just Google it. And yeah, so if you do want a proper Ryzen i9 overclocking, I would suggest you just get a Z390 with a good overclocking features. Now, because this particular motherboard, the Gigabyte Z370 Ultra Gaming, doesn't really have the best overclocking features, let's say. So hence, I guess the instability occurs. So yeah, hopefully you guys who actually watch this video and don't make the same mistake. At least shortcuts not necessarily always good. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next video.